Hi, my name is Dr. Cindy Shen at the Department of Communication. Today, I'm going to talk about computer-mediated communication. Have you seen this cartoon before? This is arguably the most famous cartoon in the history of the internet. It was created by Peter Steiner for the New Yorker magazine. As of 2011, the cartoon was the most reproduced cartoon from the New Yorker. And Steiner himself has earned over $50,000 US from its reprinting. Even though this cartoon is probably older than most of you, its message still holds true today. The significance of the cartoon in popular culture lies in the fact that the cartoon marks a notable moment on the history of the internet. Once the exclusive domain of government engineers and academics, the internet was now a subject of discussion in general interest magazines like the New Yorker. And internet, as well as computer-mediated communication, has reached the masses, including the two computer-savvy dogs. It also symbolizes many issues and aspects of computer-mediated communication. For example, privacy, anonymity, identity, impression management, and so forth. These are all very important aspects of CMC, and hopefully, through this lecture, we will begin to have a better understanding of them. So, what is CMC after all? We can look at the three elements of its definition. Well, you guessed it. They are computer, mediation, and communication. Let's start from communication. In the first couple of lectures, we learned the basic concept of communication. Here, let us revisit that concept using a classic model, the Shannon-Weaver model of communication, which has been called the mother of all models. In 1948, Shannon and Weaver published a paper titled A Mathematical Theory of Communication, and the model they developed was then named after them. So let's take a closer look at the model. There are many elements. From the very left, we have the sender, which is the originator of the message, or the source of the information. Next, the encoder is the transmitter, which converts the message into signals, which then travel through the communication channel. For example, in telephone conversation, the voice is converted into wave signals, and these signals transmit through cables. In email communication, the message is converted into binary data, or bits, and they travel through the internet. Next, the decoder is the reception place of the signal. It reverses the encoding process and converts signals into the original message. So, in the previous example, the receiver converts those analog waves or binary data into message, which is understandable for the receiver. And lastly, the receiver is the destination of the message from the sender. Based on the decoded message, the receiver then gives their feedback to the sender. If the message is distracted by noise, it will affect the communication flow between the sender and the receiver. The Shannon-Weaver model describes the process of communication. One element, the channel, is essentially the medium in CMC. So, when we talk about computer-mediated communication, it points to computer or digital devices as the channel or the medium. Naturally, we would think the medium for CMC is computer. However, it should be noted that the word computer-mediated communication was coined well before the widespread use of digital devices. Because these digital devices share many of the same characteristics of computers, now the word computer in CMC really broadly refers to digital devices such as computers, tablets, and mobile phones. Okay, now it brings us to the full definition of CMC. CMC can be defined as human communication that happens through the use of one or more digital devices. Nicholas Negroponte, the founder of the MIT Media Lab, wrote a book titled Being Digital. In this book, he described the differences between traditional and digital media. Have you written or received a letter recently? Or have you read an actual newspaper? Both are examples of traditional or analog media. The common characteristics are that they rely on a physical form, or in Negroponte's term, atoms. So if your roommate is reading a newspaper, you have to wait for your turn to read it. You can't read it until he or she is done with it. On the contrary, digital media rely on binary information, or in Negroponte's term, bits. Such information is easily reproducible with virtually no cost at all. Thousands of people can access the digital version of USA Today or New York Times at the same time. You can send your friend an email, an instant message, or a Snapchat at the split of a second. You can even send the very same message to tens or even hundreds of people at once. So, now we know about the definition of CMC. In the videos to follow, I will talk about the types of CMC, the three key theories of CMC, including the cues filtered out theory, social information processing theory, and the hyperpersonal model. We will conclude our lecture with a case study of online dating, which will embody a variety of CMC issues and processes.